Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce, where we review and discuss your and our favorite comedy films. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program, first in the Northern California Bay Area, world-famous juggler, Greg Larson. Greg, I have to commend you, or your team rather, for a fantastic season. And you have nothing to be ashamed about. But I'm glad I don't have to pay you $50.
Yeah. I'm not bitter, and I'm definitely not tart. For those who watch the game will understand that reference. But it was a fun season. It'll be interesting. Of all things, I just feel bad for Debo. He put up a good season, but I drowned my sorrows of that with some beer and some Guardians of the Galaxy, the video game, and so life's good, man. How are you doing, Ozzy?
I'm good. Which, by the way, also with us, Flesh Wound producer Todd. How you doing, Todd?
I'm good, chilling.
Any football stories for us? No.
No.
We see some. I see some boxes. Did you just get some stuff?
We just did an unboxing on the other channel.
Ah, there you go.
Well, thank you for calling out. I didn't clean up.
No, it's just I wasn't sure.
My football
now people
boxes?
know that there's. Hold on a second. Now people know that there's an unboxing on one of the other shows. Now, Greg, just a quick note before we move on about Debo. I was watching this game at my sister's house. And my brother-in-law, not really familiar with football, but he likes watching it. He just can't follow. He doesn't have time. But he saw Debo Samuel. He's like, man, wait, is that like, I kind of like that guy. That's got to like Debo like from Friday. I'm like, yeah, the dad's actually named him because of him. He's like, really? Like, I want the Rams to win, but I like that guy. He was like, so like because especially since he's used so much, you see him do everything. Everything.
Right. So much so that he's a wide receiver by his actual position, but in Madden, in the ultimate, it's like a card-based thing. They actually put him as a running back for one of their recent releases. So shows you how much the man does.
I honestly just feel bad for him because I think in that position, when the team doesn't win, I think feel an extra level of guilt. Because they expect me to do so much and I didn't live up to their expectations. But I mean, you can only do so much. Unfortunately, good looks can't complete passes. So I gotta. And you know what? If the Kyle Shanahan didn't draft Trey Lance last year, trade up to get a quarterback in the first round, I feel like, okay, maybe he's trying to rebuild something, with behind Jimmy G. Okay, fine, whatever. But apparently that's not the case. So there's that. Anyhow, this week we did review the film Car Wash, released on October 22nd, 1976. Don, you got the trailer ready?
I do.
All right, let's roll.
They still do it by hand at Mr. B's.
Morning, Mr. B.
Morning, Snapper.
Only determination.
Got the big three.
Dedication. And a tough crew of men can get the job done.
Stand and deliver, honey.
They've got a sharp boss who always has control of the situation. They've got teamwork.
Hi, I'm Todd. Ho! And I'm Lloyd. And we're the Futurists.
And most of all, they've got the will to work.
I don't want you to leave here without realizing what I can do for your car. Like what? Take over the payments for me?
This is the wet and wild world of the car wash, a business a man can be proud of.
I want to work with the men, Dad.
Where the only rule is, do it with style. It's hard work, because sooner or later, everyone comes through here.
Did you happen to see a big, tall, black, blonde chick here with big, black, blonde red boots?
Listen, I'd like to talk to someone and get some information about a social disease.
Hey, brothers, I'm here to unite with you.
Hey, baby, how you doing? Good, I'm glad to hear that.
between the washing and the cleaning, there's always room for dreaming that the next car through might be the answer to your prayers.
Praise the Lord! Praise the Lord!
Well, praise this car, honey.
Thank you, miss.
But one thing is certain. When it comes to serving the public, these men will stop at nothing. George Carlin, Professor Irwin Corey, Ivan Dixon, Lorraine Gary, Jack Kehoe, the Pointer Sisters, Richard Pryor. They all come together at the fabulous, freewheeling Soap Suds and Emporium where everything goes.
Boy, there's been some weird people in here today.
Car Wash.
Alrighty. I don't know what was going on in the little heavenly thing for those joining us in the YouTube version. Anyhow, that was Car Wash, again released on October 22nd, 1976 by Universal Pictures with a runtime of 97 minutes. Directed by Michael Schultz and written by Joel Schumacher, which I think is the biggest shock.
Yeah, who doesn't know, the urban scene like Joel Schumacher?
Yeah, it just really caught me off guard. But I will say some initial the aforementioned in the trailer, you had, starring George Carlin, Richard Pryor, but they had George Carlin was more prominent than Richard Pryor was, but I don't want to make anybody misled, especially since you see the giant Richard Pryor face that you think, oh, he's got to be in the movie, 70.
I stressed this very, very strongly before we watched it too.
I know, yeah, I understand that, but I also think some might not, know this movie, might think this is just a Richard Pryor movie. I think the total time he's in this is 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Would you say that's
honestly? Fair? Yeah, no, that is. And honestly, if you looked at Carlin's screen time, they're probably about the same, except his is split up.
Right.
So he seems like he's there longer.
Right. But this definitely was more of a in a kind of like an ensemble, piece. But I think what's more interesting about it is that you didn't really have one overall driving plot. Everybody had their own goals going on. Now, you did also have mentioned Ivan Dixon, but this was also starring Bill Duke and Franklin Ajay, who cracked me up as the Fly, his superhero alter ego that he was pushing. But it just felt really like it kind of felt a little bit like Caddyshack in the sense that these are guys just doing their regular job or whatever, and kind of getting a sense on all the antics. And I really loved how the music was just playing on throughout the majority of the movie, because at a car wash, that's what you would hear, the radio just going, so it really felt like you were just at the car wash the entire time, which I thought was really cool, especially with the newscasters sprinkled in with the humorous bits of headlines if you were paying attention. Greg, initial thoughts?
Yeah, this was a new one to me, and it's been a while. Is this genre of movie that it's like a day in the life kind of movie? You don't really see it that often anymore, and I agree. It kind of has that Caddyshack vibe. I do think it's criminal that you have Richard Pryor and George Carlin in this, but not for that much. But I also feel for a movie like this, it wouldn't work if they were in it more, because then you have an obvious standout star, which is this movie's not supposed to feel like a star film. But yeah, it was definitely fun. But where you liked all the music, which was kind of nice, I had that stupid car wash song stuck in my head for hours afterwards. It was kind of bittersweet.
Right. But I think what was so great about that is at the time, with top hits on the radio, if you had the radio on the same channel, you'd probably hear that same song 3, 4, maybe even 5 times during the day.
Right.
So I thought that makes sense. Oh God, we're hearing this again. But yeah, that's what would happen if, I honestly just felt like I was a kid in the corner
But-
of just the car wash waiting for my dad to pick me up. Or
Isn't that
something.
kind of like watching Caddyshack and they're like at the golf course the whole movie?
Oh man. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. That was rough.
Todd, I didn't know you were doing Greg jokes now.
Yeah, for real. Todd, do you have any initial thoughts here?
I honestly, from what you're saying, Ozzy, I thought you were gonna like it a lot less. I don't know, you haven't rated it yet, but yeah, this is one I watch every maybe 10 years. I actually didn't watch this one that long ago because the Scream Factory Blu-ray came out in, I believe, 2019, 2018. I don't know.
If
And
only
yeah.
we had like this some sort of device where we could access.
Well, I didn't think the
information, like,
release
just like-
date of Car Wash was that pertinent. The fact that it is currently available on Blu-ray is some information, and it's been out for a while. But if you really want to know the release date of the Blu-ray,
I do really want to know. I can't sleep without knowing, and I have a lot of stuff to do tomorrow. So
well,
I think
I
it's
know
really important that
June 20th, 2017.
June 20th, 2017.
A date
Okay.
that will go down in infamy.
I was excited when we got this on Blu-ray. So, yeah.
Any special features on the Blu-ray?
The Blu-ray does have not enough.
Is there a commentary?
I don't think there is, but I'm double checking.
Okay. In the meantime, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it just has 2 new extras. It doesn't have a commentary. Sorry.
Gotcha. Any specific like outtakes, bloopers?
This is like the worst review because it's not giving me any of that information, and then I don't have the Blu-ray in front of me. Okay, no, I'm sorry. We have an okay. Let's start it again. Yes, Ozzy, it does have an audio commentary with the director Michael Schultz.
Thank you very much.
That was
already.
recorded in 2015.
Okay.
It has Car Wash from start to finish with the producer, working at the car wash with Otis Day, then the radio spots and trailer.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Otis Day, that Otis Day. It was really fun to see him, and to see him and Floyd and Lloyd really, especially being in LA, it would make sense that they got a nightly gig going on, side gig, trying to get their big break going on. But there was a few funny moments. It like not stuff that was really like, oh my god, I'm in tears, but just hearty. I don't know how to exactly describe them. Not exactly like just, oh my god, I'm gonna die from laughing, but that's good. For me, it was in particular, I have to say, the owner was complaining about the music on the radio, and the cashier says, well, if you don't like it, just change it. He's like, oh yeah, watch this. And then it changes it to classical music, and all of them turn to complain, and then they all start moving at a slow pace with the pace of the music. Just busted me up. That was good, and it's like, oh, that's good. And he switched it back. But that was it for me. Greg, how about yours?
I really just appreciated those end credits. The way they did the audio for it, like, and so
Yes.
seamlessly from like the movie going to like, wait, is this the end?
Right.
Like, it was a lot of fun. It brought me, like, it wasn't like a laughing moment, but it was just a night, like, it really topped it off well.
For those that haven't seen, could you break that down, how that end credit scene went?
Well, it was just like, instead of having the person show up with like their name, they actually had like this announcer coming up and be like, and so as blah, so like it was just a lot of fun, and it just had their little moments.
And it's the announcer you hear. It's the announcer you hear throughout the movie too.
Right, one of the radio announcers. Which for a second I thought one of the radio announcers was Carlin, because in one of their off lines about the Senators, it sounded like one of Carlin's deliveries on his early stand-up, but it wasn't him. These were apparently actual radio DJs at the time. Todd.
I just want to say I think it's hilarious. Greg's favorite part was the end credits. Just gonna throw that out there. Okay, there's one line when Carlin's looking for the chick who like ran out on him, and he goes up to the shoe shiner. He's like, I know you don't look up much, but I lost it on that one.
Another good one, and I gotta say, just because for me, I think it hit different because I spent so much time on the road. But when you have one lady coming out of the bathroom and then another one about to go in, she's, good Lord, it stinks in there. It's supposed to, lady. It's a toilet. I wish like I could have like that. Man, the amount of times. But anyhow, going into the ratings, in terms of enjoyment, I mean, again, we're just going off of flat out enjoyment, not in terms of like, oh my God, this made me laugh X amount of times. But in terms of flat out enjoyment, I want to give this a 3.5. Still better than average. I'm definitely going to see it again when the time comes. But they just felt some moments where just like a little bit like, oh, wait, we got to have some real story here for a second. Hold on. You know, like let's it felt like Clerks with like serious dramatic moments that just like kind of were just in the middle of stuff. And it just kind of messed with the pace a little bit. But still, I enjoyed it. Like 3.5 is not a bad score by any means. Greg?
No, not at all. Yeah, I think this movie could have also been titled like damn it, white people, because there's some moments that just some of those customers that came in, like that's pretty much the vibe. But yeah, it was fun. You know, it wasn't overly hilarious, but man, I definitely enjoyed the film. So I think I'm gonna go with you. I'm close to saying it's a 3 just because of getting car wash stuck in my head, but I will still go ahead with 3.5.
Across the board, I'm a 3.5 also. And to bring it full circle back to Debo, there is a loose remake inspired by film from 2001 called The Wash with Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre, written and directed by DJ Pooh, who wrote Friday. So there's a connection, and I do enjoy that one quite a bit. So I recommend that one too. Okay. There we go.
All right. Well, maybe that'll be something in the future that we'll be reviewing here on The Farce. All right.
The Farce, is that what we're doing now? It's done.
It just came out. I don't know.
I like it.
I apologize for nothing. Anyhow, that was Car Wash here on The Farce. We'll be back with the new episode next week. Any final thoughts? Things you guys want to say before we head out for the week?
I just like that you can find The Farce on the internets, and you know, I don't know if that dated us or just made it cooler. I don't know which way it went, but I appreciate it.
Well, I'll tell you.
Okay.
I was going to say. Oh, go ahead, Ozzy.
No, go for it.
I was going to say, well, I'm so hip. I came out, or this movie came out like 3 weeks before I was born. So there's that.
Okay. All righty. Now, when you. I should say when I mentioned The Farce, it came out because when I used to host, well, I mean, I still host trivia, and I used to do these videos advertising trivia. I used to refer to it as the trivia. I think is because my so many years of watching Seinfeld and then Curb.
Yeah,
there's so many things that are referred to. They just have the added to whatever, so that's why it seemed like, oh yeah, the Farce, the Farce show. So there you go.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Pretty good.
Pretty good. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is world famous juggler Greg Larson and Flesh Wound producer Todd. And I'm Ozzy V, and we'll see you next week right here on Flesh Wound Farce.